Hello everyone, I am Assistant Professor Milan Patel. I am Electrical Power System from the Electrical Engineering Department of the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. Today we will discuss chapter number 1, General Design Aspects from the subject Elements of Electrical Design, having a subject code of 31609118 from the semester number 6. Now, flow of contents for the today's video lectures are: first, leakage flux and fringing effect, stacking factor, calculation of MMF for air gap. So, these are the questions which was asked in previous GTU examination, and chapter number 1, general design aspects, have a weightage of 20%, a weightage of 20%. So exam point of view, this is the most IMP chapter. Today we will cover definition for Carter's coefficient, stacking factor, gap contraction factor, which was asked in May-June 2012. Then this question number B, what is Carter's coefficient? How does it help in estimation of the MMF in case of slotted armature? What are the expressions to be used for the estimation? Then question number I, derive an expression for gap contraction factor in the electrical machine. Winter 2017 for the 7 marks. So these questions will be covered today. So now let's start with leakage flux and fringing effect. Leakage flux and fringing effect. So now this is the basic magnetic circuit. This is the basic magnetic circuit. This circular area is for core, magnetic core, and this is the winding placed on this magnetic core. This is the air gap. This is the air gap between this magnetic core. Now, by applying current I in this winding having n number of turns, the magnetic flux will produce like this. These dotted lines, circular lines, are notation for the magnetic flux, magnetic field lines or magnetic flux lines. Due to this magnetic flux, uh, it will pass from this core. Magnetic flux will pass from this core like this. These three dotted lines are for the magnetic flux flowing through this core, and this is the air gap flux. So we can see that some portion of flux is not passing through the core. Some portion of the flux is not passing through the core, but it is not linked with the core, not linking with the core. So we can see that this flux is not linking with the core, and this flux is called leakage flux. This flux is called leakage flux. This is the useful flux. Which is flowing through the magnetic core. So in magnetic circuit, all the magnetic flux produced does not pass through the core, but some portion of it passes through a different path. Our actual and desired path is this, in the core, from the core, and but some portion of the flux will follow the other path. This is the other path, and this is the non-desirable path. So different path known as the leakage path. So this non-desirable path is called leakage path, and this flux is called leakage flux, So this flux is not useful in energy conversion purpose. So this leakage flux is not useful in the energy conversion purpose. So it will affect the performance of the rotating machines and transformers. So this leakage flux will surely affect on the machines and transformers. So leakage flux is denoted by the XL. XL by XL means leakage reactance. It affects the voltage regulation of the alternator and the transformer. So leakage flux is affect the voltage regulation of the alternator and transformer, and also it will create problem for the commutation in DC machine. Commutation in the DC machine. So to take into account the leakage factor or leakage coefficient CL is used for magnetic circuit calculation. So the flux in air gap is called useful flux. The flux in air gap, the flux in the air gap is called useful flux. So leakage coefficient is defined by CL is equal to total flux divided by useful flux. So CL is equal to total flux divided by useful flux. So our useful flux is available at the air gap, and our total flux is the flux flowing through this magnetic core plus the leakage flux. So this is the leakage coefficient, and it is derived by total flux divided by useful flux. So now definition of the fringing. Now next topic is fringing. So fringing is nothing but the spreading of useful flux, the spreading of the useful flux at the edges of the air gap is known as the fringing. At the edges of the air gap is known as the fringing. So fringing effect is nothing but the spreading of the magnetic flux at the edges of the air gap. Edges of the air gap is called fringing. Is called fringing. So due to fringing effect, the area of air gap increases. Due to fringing effect, the area of air gap increases, and therefore the flux density in the air gap will reduce. So the flux density in the air gap will reduce due to the increase of the area in the air gap due to the fringing effect. So we can see here the area of the air gap is increasing due to the fringing effect. So we have to we know the equation of magnetic flux density is given by phi by A. B is equal to phi by A, where phi is the flux, A is the area. As the value of area increases, the magnetic flux density B will reduce. So due to fringing effect, it will mainly affect on the magnetic field density B. So due to fringing effect, magnetic flux density B will reduce. So now another question, most IMP for 1 marks, stacking factor, and it is denoted by Ki. Stacking factor, it is denoted by Ki. So stacking factor is defined as the ratio of net iron length to the total gross length of the core. Total gross length of the core. So it is the simple ratio of the net iron length to the gross length of the core. Now the armature core is always laminated to reduce the eddy current losses. The armature core is always laminated to reduce the eddy current losses, and laminations are made of silicon steels plates and insulated from each other by the paper or varnish or insulating materials. So some part of the length is utilized by the ventilating ducts and air spaces. Therefore, the net length is less than the gross length. Therefore, the net length is less than the gross length. So, stacking factor is nothing but the net iron length divided by gross iron length. So, in iron length, there is a ventilating ducts are there. There are a ventilating ducts are there, and also the stampings of the core is laminated by the varnish. So uh, the net iron length is less than the gross iron length. Net iron length is less than the gross iron length due to the varnish or paper present in the insulating material between the two stampings and ventilating ducts. So it is given by Ki. Ki means stacking factor is equal to Li. Li is our net iron length. Li is our net iron length divided by L minus NdBd. L minus NdBd, where L minus NdBd is our gross length, and Nd is number of ducts and Bd is the width of the duct. Bd is the width of the duct and D is the number of ducts, where the width of ducts may vary from 8 to 10 mm. 8 to 10 mm. Usually thickness of the laminations varies from 0.3 to 0.5 mm. 0.3 to 0.5 mm, and the value of Ki is about 0.9. The value of Ki is about 0.9, and Ki is the unitless because it is the ratio of the net iron length to the gross iron length. So both are the length, so it will measured in mm, meter, etc., etc. So both will be cancel out. That's why it is a unitless and its value is about 0.9. So stacking factor is usually taken 0.9. So now most IMP question for the 7 marks, calculation of MMF for air gap. Calculation of MMF for air gap. So first of all, we know that the total MMF or ampere turn required for the particular machine, total MMF or ampere turn required for a particular machine is given by MMF required for iron parts plus MMF required for the air gap. So in this figure we can see that the total MMF required to this circuit is simply MMF required for this iron core, MMF required for this iron core plus MMF required for this air gap. So this is the equation for the total MMF. Usually MMF required to overcome the reluctance of iron part is very small as compared to the air gap. So usually MMF required for the iron parts are very small. MMF required for the iron parts are very small as compared to the air gap. So in air gap, very high value of MMF is required compared to the iron parts. So now to calculate the MMF required for the air gap, following factors must be considered. So let's start with the first factor. So length of air gap is not constant over whole pitch. So air gap is varying over the whole pitch. So the air gap at the pole tips is more 40 to 50% more than the center of the pole shoe. So at the pole tips, the air gap is 40 to 50% more than the center of the pole shoe. Due to this, the flux density towards the pole tips will reduce. Than the center of the pole shoe, because we know the equation of the flux density is B is equal to phi by A. As the A increases, the B will decrease. Therefore, the average value of the flux density must be taken into account to calculate the MMF for the air gap. So, at pole center and at pole tips, the magnetic flux density is different. That's why we have to calculate our problem with the average flux density. Average flux density. Now, the ratio of average flux density over the pole pitch to the maximum flux density in the air gap is called field form factor Kf. Field form factor Kf. So this is the most IMP definition for the 1 mark. The ratio of average flux density over the pole pitch to the maximum flux density in the air gap is called field form factor Kf. This ratio approximately same as the ratio of pole arc to pole pitch. Pole arc to pole pitch, and pole pitch is denoted by tau p. Tau p in DC machine. In DC machine. So we can say that field form factor is given by pole arc to the pole pitch, or another definition is average field density divided by maximum field density, or B average divided by B max. So this is the definition of the field form factor. So the effective area of air gap is given by AGE. AGE means effective area of the air gap. So gap area multiplied by field form factor. Gap area multiplied by the field form factor will give us the value of the effective area of the air gap. And it is given by tau p into tau p means pole pitch multiplied by L. L is our total length of the machine into Kf into Kf. Kf is our field form factor, where the L is the gross length of the armature. L is the gross length of the armature. Now second part, reluctance of the air gap with slotted armature will be more as compared to the smooth armature machine. So we know that the reluctance of the air gap with the slotted armature is always greater than the smooth type armature of the machine, because the length of the air gap will increase due to the slots on the armature. So the length of the air gap will increase due to the slot teeth arrangement of the armature. This may be taken into account by considering gap contraction factor for the slots. So now these are the two figures. The first figure for the air gap with the smooth armature. Air gap with the smooth armature. And second one is the air gap with the slotted armature. Air gap with the slotted armature. This is the teeth, this is the slots. So now in this is the smooth armature, this is the air gap, and air gap have length Lg, this is the tau s, this is the tau s means distance between two adjacent slots. Other name is slot pitch. In this figure, this square portion is slot, and it has width of Bs. The slot has width Bs, and same thing, this is the slot having width of Bs. This is the teeth having width of Bt. Again, this is the slot of Bs length. Now this is slot pitch tau s. Now this is the tau se. This is the tau se. We will discuss it after this portion. Now figure shows the smooth armature air gap and the slotted armature air gap. So above two figure will show us the smooth armature air gap and the slotted armature air gap. For smooth armature, flux is uniformly distributed over the entire slot. So in this figure we can see that these red lines are for smooth armature flux is uniformly distributed. So this flux is uniformly distributed in the over the entire slot in this air gap with the smooth armature. Now the reluctance for the air gap with smooth armature, reluctance, we know the equation of reluctance is given by S is equal to L by mu A, L by mu A. But here we have to consider for the smooth armature, that's why we will consider SG1 for our first case of smooth armature is given by L by mu 0 A, L divided by mu 0 A. But our actual L is Lg, our actual air gap length is Lg divided by mu 0 tau s into L. Mu 0 into area is given by tau s into L. So our flux density, flux is distributed for the length tau s, that's why it is multiplied with tau s into L. L is our gross length. So our area is given by tau s into L, where the mu 0 is the permeability of the free space, where the mu 0 is the permeability of the free space. Now in slotted armature, flux is only confined to the width of the tooth, So we can see that in slotted armature the magnetic flux is distributed only at the length of the tooth. This is the length of tooth dt. So effective slot pitch is given by tau se is equal to, so tau se is equal to given by tau s minus bs. So this tau se is given by tau s minus bs. This bs by 2, this bs by 2 will give us tau s minus bs. So this is the length of bt. Length of bt means width of tooth, where bt is the width of tooth and bs is the width of slot. Now the reluctance of the air gap with slotted armature is given by Sg2. Sg2. So again the same equation, Lg by mu 0 tau se, tau s, effective slot pitch for the slotted armature multiply by length. So L divided by mu 0 A, where A is given by tau se into L. So further we will simplify it by Lg by mu 0 tau se into L, Lg divided by mu 0 L, where tau se is given by tau s minus bs, tau s minus bs from this equation. So put the value of tau se in this equation, we will get Lg divided by mu 0 L tau s minus bs. Now consider fringing effect with the slotted armature. So we know that in fringing effect at the edges of the tooth, the flux will spreading. That's why the effective area of the flux will increase. So now we will consider the fringing effect like this, and we will increase the value of tau se as tau se dash. So we will consider now effective length of the flux distribution is tau se dash. So tau se dash is slightly greater than tau se. So tau se dash is slightly greater than this tau se because of the fringing effect. So here for slotted armature, fringing effect is there as shown in figure. So effective area of the flux distribution is increased. So the flux of one slot pitch will be distributed over the width of bt plus delta bs, and tau dash se is equal to tau dash SE. So it is given by Bt plus delta Bs. Now Bt plus Bs minus Bs plus delta Bs. So we have simply put plus Bs minus Bs in this upper term. So we will take common Bs. From this equation. So minus Bs is common. So our in bracket 1 minus delta is there. 1 minus delta will remaining. And also we know that Bt plus Bs is our tau s. Bt plus Bs is our tau s. So our equation for the effective tau Se means tau Se dash is given by tau s minus Bs 1 minus delta. So this is the actual flux distribution length after considering the fringing effect. So this will be useful for our further calculation. Now the final reluctance of the air gap is given by Sg3. Now Sg3 is the final reluctance of the air gap with consideration of the fringing effect is given by Lg divided by mu 0 tau Se dash into L. Tau Se dash into L. So tau Se dash into L will give us the effective area of the distributed flux. Now further simplification is given by Lg divided by mu 0 L. Now the value of tau Se dash is taken from this equation. So it will give us tau s minus Bs 1 minus delta bracket over multiplication of mu 0 into L. So now consider 1 minus delta as KCS and give the name equation B. For this equation Lg divided by mu 0 L tau in bracket tau s minus KCS into Bs, equation number B. And our equation number 1 is Sg1 Lg divided by mu 0 tau s into L is our equation number 1, where KCS is equal to 1 minus delta and it is called Carter's gap coefficient KCS, and depends upon the ratio of slot width Bs to the air gap length Lg. Value of KCS will taken from the following figure. So one graph is standard for particular material for the finding purpose of the Carter's coefficient. So this is the graph of Carter's coefficient versus slot width divided by air gap length is available in standard form. So it will give us the value of Carter's coefficient for the particular slot width divided by air gap length. So first of all we have to find slot width divided by air gap length for the particular material and then put the value of this in this graph and simply find the value of KCS, Carter's coefficient for the slot. So this graph open slot, this is for the semi-closed slot. So we can see that for the open slot the value of Carter's coefficient is less. And for the semi-closed slot the value of Carter coefficient is higher. So from the equation number A and B, gap contraction factor KGS is given by reluctance of the air gap with slotted armature and reluctance of air gap with smooth armature. So it is given by Lg divided by mu 0 L into tau s minus kcs bs divided by lg divided by mu 0 l into tau s. So it will give value of gap contraction factor kgs for the slots is given by tau s divided by tau s minus kcs into bcs, where kcs is the Carter's coefficient for the slots and it will found from this graph. So in example you have directly given the value of kcs, so you will find easily by putting this simple value in the equation. So you have to remember this equation for the gap contraction factor. Now the third parameter or third consideration is ventilating ducts. Ventilating ducts. Second is for slotted armatures. Third one is for the ventilating ducts. So ventilating ducts are provided in a machine for cooling purpose. So main purpose of the ventilating ducts are the cooling purpose. Now the length of air gap will increase due to this. The length will increase due to this ventilating ducts. Therefore, the air gap reluctance for a machine having ventilating ducts will be more than for a machine having no ducts. And this is also taken into account by considering gap contraction factor for the slot. In second consideration, we have considered the slotted armature, and this is the gap contraction factor for the slot, and it is denoted by kgs, where in this third consideration of the ventilating ducts, the gap contraction factor will be denoted by the kgd, gap contraction factor for the ducts. So same as slotted armature, the effective axial length of the armature is given by Le is equal to L minus KCD, where KCD is the Carter's gap coefficient. NDBD, KCD into NDBD, where ND is the number of duct and BD is the width of duct. For ducts and depend on the ratio of the duct width divided by gap length. For KCD is depend on the ratio of the duct width divided by the gap length, and the value of KCD is found from the same graph for the KCS. So again the value of KCD will be found from this graph also. So we have to refer this graph for finding the value of the KCS. Now the gap contraction factor for the ducts KGD is given by the reluctance of the air gap with ducts and reluctance of the air gap without ducts. So it is given by L divided by L minus KCD and BD, and this is the same equation as the gap contraction factor for the slot, but only the change is that the tau s is replaced by the length L, and KCS is replaced by the KCD because this is for ducts, that's why KCD, and BS is replaced by BD. And BD is multiplied by the ND because we don't know that how many ducts are there, that's why ND is for number of duct. So this is our equation for the gap contraction factor for duct KGD. Now the total gap contraction factor for the particular machine is given by Kg is equal to Kgs into Kgd, where Kg is equal to gap contraction factor for the slot and kgd is the gap contraction factor for the duct. The value of kg is usually from 1.1 to 1.2 for the DC machine. So value of the kg is in between 1.1 to 1.2 for the DC machine. Now effective length of the air gap is given by LGE. Effective length of the air gap is given by LGE, and the value of LGE is equal to kg into Lg. Kg into Lg, where the kg is total gap contraction factor and Lg is the length of air gap. So now total ampere ton required for the air gap, total ampere ton required for the air gap ATG is given by Hg into Lg, because we know that the equation of mmf or ampere turn is simply given by HL, H into L, where H is the magnetic field strength, L is the length of the particular system. So it is given by ATG is given by Hg into LGE, where Hg is the magnetic field strength in the air gap and LGE is the effective length of the air gap. Again the Hg is given by mu Bg divided by mu 0, because we know the equation of H is given by B by mu 0, multiply by Lge is given by Kg into Lg, Kg into Lg. So put the value of mu 0. So mu 0 is the permeability in the free space, and its value is 4 pi multiplied by 10 raised to minus 7. 4 pi multiplied by 10 raised to minus 7 kg bg into Lg, kg bg into Lg. So the value of 1 upon 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7 is given by 8 lakhs or 8 raised to 10 raised to 5. 8 multiplied by 10 raised to 5 into kg bg Lg, and the answer is 4 ampere turn required for the air gap. Ampere turn required for the air gap, and it is given by 8 lakh kg bg Lg, and the answer is in form of ampere turn. So this is the most IMP question regarding GTU examination, and it may be asked for the 7 marks in next GTU examination. So I hope you understood this topic. Thank you all.